Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers Showcase video. In today's video, I'm once again taking a look at one of your designs that you have linked me in the comments section of one of my videos. And if you see something of yours shown on this channel, just leave me the link somewhere and I'll eventually get around to it. But for today, we're looking at another small fighter, and this one is called the Warrior Class Light Fighter, which is this lovely thing right here. This is a small ship designed to be a mass-produced fighter which can be deployed from a carrier and sent off to its doom, only to be replaced by another one shortly after. Pressing F10 and finding the warrior in the spawn menu, there it is. This thing is 1,488 small blocks using none of the DLC packs, and here is a little bit of information about the ship, where it states that this is a vanilla fighter that is designed to be mass-produced. It does have some limitations and it can't quite fly in certain planets' atmospheres, but it should overall do what it was designed for. So we'll give this a little thumbs up, come around to the very front and then have a quick look around the outside, and then I'll spawn in something for this to shoot. So yeah, it's coming all the way over to here. In fact, where was I going there? I was trying to start the video again. Over to here, this is what we get. Front and center, a gatling gun to blast our enemies with, and that has been surrounded by some red and black blocks. Just behind that, our fighter cockpit to control this thing and fly it around, and that has been surrounded by some white steel blocks. As we continue around the side there, we've got some ion thrusters to help us move around in space, and we've got some atmospheric thrusters to help us on a planet. If we continue along the side there, we've got some nice block work just covering up our important blocks, and we do have a rocket launcher on the side there to blast our enemies with. If we continue along the side there, we've got some more small atmospherics and small ion thrusters. Then moving all the way around to the very back here, this is what's going to push us around. So we've got two large atmospheric thrusters and two large hydrogen. We also have some big black blocks on the side there just to protect up our atmospheric thrusters that will keep us afloat on a planet. And we can see inside here some more white, red and black blocks. If we come up and above here, there is our large atmospheric thrusters that those blocks are protecting, and we've got some more to help us move down just in case we need it. We've got an antenna there just to make sure we can always find this thing. Then moving over to here, a gatling turret just to aid out with any oncoming missiles that you miss. Then moving all the way along to the front there, there's another small ion thruster, there's a beacon, and there is our cockpit. If we were to come down and underneath this thing, dropping below our gatling gun, there is a landing gear to drop ourselves on. We have an LCD screen, which is our SOS supplies, where we're going to store stuff in here for an emergency, so some more oxygen bottles, some hydrogen bottles, maybe even some gun and ammunition, but that's entirely up to you. And this is the very bottom. We once again got our connector, and that's been surrounded by some ion thrusters. Might not be too good an idea to have the thrusters sitting right there, because when you try to connect up to something, you could potentially damage the thing you're connecting to. Yes, that's how we're going to load and unload any goods we need, and we've got some more landing gear to drop ourselves on when we're finished with our task. It's a very nice little ship, very compact, and it's got everything you need to fight a small scale fight. And it's time for me to take control of my character and bring up the HUD. So number one is going to be to fire our single gatling gun and the very front there, and deal a nice bit of damage. Number two is a button to press and it will launch out our rocket launchers on our side. 7 is for our toggle to switch from ion to atmospheric, so pressing that the atmospherics will turn on and our ion will turn off. Pressing it again will then switch them back over and we can just keep flicking between them as we please. Number 8 and number 9 is manual control for our ion and atmospheric thrusters to switch them on and off in case we want them all off at the same time. For tab number 2 we then got our connector to lock and unlock it along with our landing gear, and number 6 is for our turret on top to switch it on and off. Number 3, 4 and 5 is empty, so it's time to fly this thing around. Moving forwards with this thing, we've got a nice little bit of speed coming out of those two ion thrusters. We're not the fastest thing in the world, but we don't have to be with this type of ship. Stopping as well should be just as good, because we've got equal thruster distribution forwards and back. Moving left, and moving right, we're quite slow with that. Moving down, and then moving up, we're also slow with that. Putting my mouse around, this is what we get. We've got a lot of control over this to the point that you may want to turn down the gyroscopes just a little bit to add a tiny bit of weight. So dropping that down to about 70%, that makes it a little bit more responsive and adds a tiny bit of drag on there, which is what I personally like when flying a ship. But now if we switch over to the atmospheric thrusters and find a suitable planet, let's find Earth wherever that has gone. Let's just go and shove it, over here. There we go. Moving forwards on a planet, this is what we get. We've got a nice lot of speed thanks to those two large atmospheric thrusters. Stopping as well is just as good because once again, same thruster distribution forwards and back. Moving left. And moving right, we are quite slow, not as slow as left and right in space. Moving down. And then trying to slow ourselves down by moving up. We are quite slow with that, but nowhere near as slow as in space. So what I'll do now is quickly hop out of there, find something to spawn in, and we'll shoot it up. And there we go, I've just spawned in the Albatross. That is now going to have an accident down there. And we can start shooting it with our gatling gun as it slowly tries to stop itself from its impending doom. Yes, as it just flies away. I'm not actually sure where it's going now. It's trying its best just to level itself, but it's going to come crashing down over there. We can start firing our rocket launchers into it, try to encourage it to land safely. Let's see what we can do. And there it goes. I have a horrible feeling this is going to lag like hell. Yes, it is. Look at it get. Wow, that bounced. I did not expect that to bounce like that. We can just start shooting it with our Gatling guns, deal a tiny bit of damage with this, and we can always end this with a little slam into the side. There we go. So it's a nice little ship to play around with if you are looking for something quick and easy to build, and even to have mass produced by a carrier vessel. So there'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around with it yourself. I'll be back with another one at some point soon. Bye bye.